Hi there, and welcome to Naturally Recovering Autism. I am your host, Karen Thomas, and I want to thank you so much for being here and being a proactive parent and getting the resources that you need to let your child live their most fulfilling and independent life possible. When my own son was diagnosed with autism, I was told to drug him and try behavioral therapies, and there was nothing else that we could do for him but manage his symptoms the rest of his life. But I didn't want to do that. Fortunately, my background in craniosacral therapy of now 30 years let me know that the brain can and does heal, but I didn't know that much about autism. What I did know is that I didn't want to just mask the symptoms with dangerous drugs. I wanted to find the causes and work with them naturally. And fast forward, it took me a decade and a lot of time and effort, but today my son is no longer diagnosable with autism after being told it could not happen. So I'm here to share with you valuable resources to save you the time and some of the expense that I had to spend to figure it out, and to help you let your child lead to their best results possible. Every child's level of recovery is different, but we know that children who couldn't sleep through the night are sleeping now through the night and happily. Their immune systems are now strong where they were once sick all the time. Children who were nonverbal and their parents were told they could never speak are now speaking. Children who were getting D's and F's in school are getting A's and B's, and those that were so anxious all the time and couldn't sit still and were uncomfortable in their own bodies are now calm and happy and relaxed, and they're leading fulfilling and independent lives with friends. This is what we want for our kids. So I'm here to share the resources with you so that you can get the best results for your child, the best possible. And you can start that right now with my free download of the top 7 foods to eliminate beginning today, of the top foods that are the most inflammatory and toxic that are contributing to those physical and behavioral symptoms of autism that your child is having. They're making his life uncomfortable. So you can get that right now at naturallyrecoveringautism.com/7 foods. And feel free to share that with anybody you know who would be interested. And I will also link to it in today's show notes. There's, of course, a lot more than diet, but this is something you could start doing today that will begin to reduce those symptoms. And I'm happy to share everything I can with you. So right now, let's dive into today's episode. Today, we're going to be talking about the hidden risks of eating soy. When it comes to healthy eating, soy is often marketed as a superfood, a plant-based protein alternative that's good for your body and the planet. But beneath all of this lies a much more complicated truth. While soy has its place in our diets in many cultures, modern soy consumption, particularly in the West, may come with a host of concerns that are worth understanding. From genetic modification to hormonal disruption, we want to dive today into why eating soy might not be as healthy as you've been led to believe. The problem with genetically modified soy, or one of the biggest issues with it, is that the majority of these crops are genetically modified. In fact, about 90 to 95% of soybeans grown in the United States are genetically engineered. And these modifications are designed to make soy crops resistant to herbicides like glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup weed killer. And while this might seem like a win for agricultural efficiency, it actually has a lot of troubling implications for both our health and the environment. Glyphosate exposure has been linked to a variety of health concerns, including endocrine disruption, cancer, and gut microbiome imbalances. And when you consume products made from genetically modified soy, you're also potentially ingesting residual glyphosate. And over time, this can accumulate in your body, contributing to a whole host of chronic health concerns. And I will link to an episode that I have done in the past where I interviewed Dr. Stephanie Seneff, who is an MIT professor, and she specializes in glyphosate and the knowledge about the dangers of it. So I'm going to be linking to that in the show notes today. This is episode 212. Additionally, genetically modified organisms are often associated with monoculture farming practices, which deplete soil nutrients, harm biodiversity, and contribute to ecological imbalances. And by consuming genetically modified soy, you're indirectly supporting an agricultural system that may be unsustainable in the long run. Phytoestrogens are hormonal disruptors in disguise. Soy is rich in phytoestrogens, which are plant-based compounds, and they're mimicking the hormone estrogen in the body. And while maybe small amounts of phytoestrogens have some benefits, like promoting heart health, excessive consumption can disrupt your hormonal balance. Now, it's also important to note here that our environment is loaded with endocrine disruptors today. Our hormones are being thrown out of balance by the air we breathe, the food we're eating, the soil we are getting our food from, the water we're drinking. So there are a lot of things going on. It's important to know that soy itself is an endocrine disruptor, adding to this accumulated problem. This is particularly concerning for individuals with hormone-sensitive conditions such as thyroid disorders, estrogen dominance, or polycystic ovary syndrome. Soy is a food that is associated with blocking the conversion of T4 to T3, which reduces the ability of the thyroid to function. For men, high levels of phytoestrogens from soy can potentially lower testosterone levels, leading to issues like reduced muscle mass, energy levels, and even fertility. For women, it can interfere with menstrual cycles and exacerbate hormone-related conditions as well. The effects of phytoestrogens are particularly concerning for infants and children. Soy-based infant formulas, for example, have been criticized for exposing developing bodies to high levels of these compounds during critical periods of growth. And some research even suggests that this could impact reproductive health later on in that child or even in that infant's life. GMO soy has been linked in studies to anxiety and aggressive behavior, and many people who are vegetarian have allergies to, or who have allergies to soy. If you're looking for a substitute, know that this is a really poor alternative. And unfortunately, dairy is not, cow's milk is not a good choice either. So things like coconut milk and almond milk are far better alternatives. These tainted crops and contaminated products also have other issues within soy, which is the way it's grown and processed. So in addition to being genetically modified, soy crops are often exposed to high levels of pesticides and herbicides. And these chemicals don't just wash away. They can remain on the crops and make their way into foods that you are eating. Moreover, many soy-based products are highly processed, stripping away any natural ingredients or nutrients and leaving behind the food that is loaded with additives and preservatives and artificial junk. So you're just left with the junk. And from soy protein isolates and energy bars to soy lecithin in processed snacks, these ingredients are far from whole natural foods that our bodies were designed to thrive on. So make sure that you read your labels. It's easy to see soy lecithin in a lot of things and soy derivatives. I'm also going to be talking about the oils because the bad omega-6 type fats include corn oil, safflower oil, sunflower oil, peanut oil, canola oil, and soybean oil. These oils promote inflammation in the body and suppress the immune system. These are seen in like most restaurants using them for cooking. All these bad fats are used. Do not use them in your home, and make sure when you eat out, you know what your sources are. And I know this can be difficult, so actually eating at home is much safer. So also then soy and the environment. Beyond individual health, soy cultivation has a significant environmental impact. As global demand for soy actually increases, much of it to feed livestock for meat production, vast amount of forests, including the Amazon rainforest, are being cleared to make room for soy plantations. This deforestation not only threatens wildlife, but also contributes to climate change by releasing carbon stored in trees and soil. And even for those who consume soy as a plant-based alternative to meat, it's worth questioning whether the environmental cost of mass soy production actually aligns with the sustainability goals often associated with plant-based diets. So what are the alternatives? And if you're looking to minimize soy in your diet, which I hope you are, in fact, eliminate it if you can, there are plenty of alternatives that are offering similar nutritional or even better benefits without these downsides. Some options include like other plant-based proteins. Millet, buckwheat, and hemp seeds are excellent sources of protein and nutrients. Fermented soy products. Now, if you do consume soy, opt for fermented varieties like tempeh, natto, or miso. The fermentation process reduces the phytoestrogen content and makes the nutrients more bioavailable. It can also be a little bit more beneficial or easier for people who have soy allergies, because I have not noted yet that soy is a very, very high allergen, and a lot of people just don't even know that they're actually allergic to it. It's because we can have various health and various behavioral symptoms that happen from eating or ingesting it, and people just don't always associate that with a food or environmental allergy. So for those who eat animal products, high quality meats can provide complete protein without the hormonal disruption associated with soy. Always eat grass-fed and pasture-raised meats, line-caught fish, and organic poultry that says no antibiotics or hormones on the packaging as well, which organic should be. Coconut oil and organic cold-pressed extra virgin olive oil are actually healthy oils you can use. Healthy dairy substitutes can include, again, coconut milk, almond milk, and hemp milk. So there are definite alternatives. The conclusion here is to rethink the soy hype. While soy can be a convenient and affordable source of protein, the modern reality of soy farming and production raises valid concerns about the health and environmental impacts from this food. From its genetic modifications to its potential role as a hormonal disruptor, soy is not the miracle food it's often marketed to be. So by choosing alternatives or consuming soy in moderation, if you have to, and opting for organic, non-GMO, and fermented varieties when you do, then you can make informed choices that support both your health and the planet. So the next time you're about to reach for that soy latte or tofu stir fry, take a moment to consider the bigger picture. Your body and the environment will be thanking you. This is so important to understand because a lot of us just think what we're eating is healthy. We've heard for years, about soy being such a good thing, or you've gone vegetarian and you're eating it, or you're trying to not eat as much animal fat or whatever it is. But now that you have some of these facts around this, I hope you rethink when you eat next, and always, always read your labels. So that's why hopefully this has been helpful for you. Thank you so much for being here. And if you would take a moment to share this with somebody who could benefit from it, I'd appreciate this. This is podcast number 212, or just sharing this podcast in general with others who could benefit from it. We greatly appreciate it, and so do they. Again, thank you for being here and what you're doing for your child, and I look forward to seeing you next time.